the sword, and Sisera abandoned his chariot and fled on foot. But Barak pursued the chariot army as far as Harosheth.
Hey,
all the troops of Sisera
hi everybody.
fell by the sword, not
Social media family. Being whatsoever racist,
this would be an exciting battle.
but then not necessarily being whatever walks of life, factions of society, or lifestyle preferences. You gotta recognize and realize there's a reason or purpose for that of my person having put it like that. That last mention. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And whereas it should prove to have become or be a no-brainer as a self-explanatory, or go double or triple to be said, as well as it should go without saying. I mean, people's places and things. And you know how that is. I mean, if you're among the average, I mean, if you're among that one, you know what I mean? If you're among persons who would be considered as you were among persons or people who would be considered as the average person, you know, then nobody really should have to or need to explain what the damn hell I'm saying when it comes to that. You know what I mean? I mean, it should prove to have become or be, you know, like disregard what you're saying.
The river Kishon swept them away, the age-old river, the river Kishon. Now, what happened? This is what happened. You have Barak, 10,000 soldiers. They're up on Mount Tabor. They're peeking over the edge. They're ready for the moment.
It should prove to become or be, you know, like self-explanatory, you know, or no-brainer.
God sends a storm, downpour, torrential downpour. Starts come down like this.
Let us some such a
and as it comes down, guess where all of that water has to go?
Virgo neighbor from hell.
The Kishon riverbed. And what do you have, by the way, in the riverbed? You got 900 iron chariots. And they have the big John Deere, rubber wheels that allow them to go, farm in the mud. They got heavy iron.
Getting back to some such other, you know.
The water starts coming up, and guess what happens? It gets muddy.
With a slight pause, with just slight introduction. You know, whereas the Virgo neighbor from hell at this here new building where I'm at as a resident tenant, paying monthly rent and etc. Whereas he himself should know that whatever he does otherwise is a violation of his apartment norms. Like the neighbor of the Lexus County, the old building where I was at, paying monthly rent and etc. Then getting back to some such other, you know, as I was saying, and you gotta recognize and realize, yeah, as I think of it with that in my mind, to backtrack here would be no purpose of being, or if I could go on following to complete a former previous prior line of thought in the same sense of the word.
Oh yeah, I remember now. Said that they were up in the north. Remember that from verse 11? Because there was friendly relations between Jacob
when I last left off. I mean, you gotta recognize and realize people's places and things. Being at the wrong place at the wrong time, the wrong crowd. Been there, done that, and don't want to do it again anytime too soon enough. God forbid. You know, because there are serious consequences for hanging out with certain cliques, you know, that's treading into dangerous waters where fools walk in where angels could tread, you know, or forbidden territory. And if you get out of that case and situation up under those conditions, you know, you may have just escaped a bullet. Literally. Actually. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And he died.
Not to mention, save yourselves from that being considered as guilt by association. Because a certain place could be like doing something just really wrong, as in against the law, aka criminally illegal, and then you could possibly be taking a one-way trip down to the dog pound with them. You know how that is.
Don't be afraid. You're fine. You're safe here.
You know.
Meets his needs with some
milk. Then neither nor am I a fan, supporter, and or enabler, and or promoter of the LGBT community. Being that because it is blasphemous. And that because if God meant for Adam and Steve or Adeline and Stephanie to get together for some such hanky-panky, and why would he himself bother to, create Adam and Eve to get together to procreate the human race for our species? There would be nobody around for Adam and Steve and Adeline and Stephanie or Amy and Stella to get together to have fun in the sun upon a gay nudist beach, compared to a regular nudist beach that permits people, persons, different lifestyles to congregate, to use a much more appropriate word, get together, because that word congregate is meant for, members and visitors to church, whatsoever religious denominations, believers, and or next time we'll hear part 2 of the message. Likewise, religious church hypocrites or false-brethen. But getting back to some such others, and so I say to you all, being of my social media family, otherwise not including the internet trolls and the negative, but persons and people who can or could possibly really be considered as being a part of my social media family. Like I said before, so I say again, not counting the internet trolls in the negative, who would be of the likes of that kind and can or could possibly compare on to those other characters of some sort of being or source of types similar to them, if not the same nonsense word. Being some such crank callers, computer hackers, stalkers, proverbial neighbors from hell, public use of problem neighbors, muggers, robbers, killers, rapists, pedophiles, or sexual predator, animal monster, creeps and crazies, and etc. Being whatsoever other riffraff of the rank and file, the criminal elements. Criminal elements being of whom I may not have mentioned, but are to be included with the ones being of whom I have mentioned among themselves. So I say, and I state for that being in the record. To you all being of my social media family who are not. Only of whatsoever races, but then not necessarily being of whatever walks of life, faction of society, or lifestyle preferences, unless some of such are at least closer to normal, if not exactly that much more. And as you all would be of the old young alike, of both two sexual genders, of males and females, representing the global community within this post-911 era, of our new millennium of this apocalyptic day and age. And whereas the doomsday clock is now at a few minutes to midnight, compared on how formerly previously or prior to then, it was at a quarter midnight for these rather biblical prophetic times. Disregard what you heard a moment or a few minutes ago or so. Just another one of these proverbial neighbors from hell, dickhead pricks, characters. More males than females. More men than women. Anyway, getting back to the what you call basic intro as an introduction. If I can finish up and then go on with something else. But then, regardless of whatsoever I could speak upon, did one subject matter of the issue at hand, pardon upon none was intended, and no disrespect meant to any past, present, or future sexual assault victims or rape victims. Yes, be our word of speaker. So I say, as I think about with that, my mind's intentions, I say to backtrack here, we don't purpose being, and also I could go on with the following to continue from where and when I had last left off to finish up as in complete upon and the same sense of word. And like I said before, so I say again, and no disrespect is meant to any past, present, or future sexual assault victims or rape victims, or that last mention. Likewise, you know. Moody Radio and Truth for Life are offering you a free digital copy. Anyway, whatsoever I could speak upon, be it one subject matter of an issue at hand, or given argument to be debated with the many different views and opinions thereof to be associated with some or such, or conversations, or dialogue, or topics of discussion, be it controversy or not, be I were to speak upon a couple, few, or four more for that matter. Then don't kill the messenger. I'm just here to deliver, and hopefully, while playing that much less the part of the devil's advocate, and that's less to you than a prodigal son. Compared to that much more like throwing away the worst two evils is other likes those being a puma among themselves, the worst of the worstest of unbelievers and unbelievers, being of deceivers who pretend to be believers in God, as in Christians, aka Protestants, and therefore they would be considered as being likewise as well all the same among themselves, characters of the worst of the worstest of closet devil worshippers, being of whom make up the majority of churchgoers, whatsoever religious denomination, from the pews to the pulpits, of members and visitors alike, false brethren, false prophets and antichrist, religious church hypocrites, religious-charlatans or religious-chameleons of the supposed so-called holier than thous, modern day Pharisees and Sadducees, and modern day Elmagantries. But then, nevertheless, likewise, let me say, and I'll state for the record, and hopefully, whatsoever I could speak upon, hopefully I would think of it with mind's intentions to do so. Or even if I were not to be thinking absent-mindedly, mention some or such or whatever, then hopefully I would speak with that much less usages of expletive of profanity, much rather than instead with that much more was cuss words to simply say. Okay. Now that I have gotten the basic intro as an introduction, I can way more or less well with this slight interjection, then get on something else to begin speaking upon a subject matter, a couple, three or four more. Yes. Then how are you all doing? Well, hopefully everyone is feeling at least okay, if not better yet to be said, to be feeling all right. Or if not best of all to be said, to be feeling blessed and stressed, more blessed than stressed, or too blessed to possibly become or be stressed. You and yours, your family and friends, and hopefully me and mine, likewise as well, all the same, or awesome. Now that I got that out the way, moving right along, on other things, as the Brits, being of our kissing cousins, across the great waters of the Atlantic in the motherland to this country, or nation as we know it to be, as opposed to the so-called Democratic Republic or democracy, being on the USA, United States of America, being on which still treats certain ones that were missing. No, that's not the half of the people, the persons, the many different ethnic minorities, especially when it comes to blacks, that much more, as it would go double, triple be said, or be a no-brainer as it go without saying, as it being self-explanatory, how blacks are that much more than any other ethnic minorities or people's persons are treated like second-class citizens, you know. Within this new Rome and or new Babylon, you know, being of which unfortunately has a negative history when it comes to civil war and on human rights violation offenses, that much more when it comes to a black race of people's persons, or black Americans or African Americans or Negroes or colors, with the way that a black race of people's persons are the only race being of whom were kidnapped from their native lands and brought to the continent of North America, to the United States, USA, United States of America, and treated, or used appropriate or mistreated, like animals, whereas the males were beaten and murdered or killed, you know, unless fate stepped in and intervened, or God, or whatever I said. And whereas the females of the black race of people's persons were sexually assaulted or raped upon quite a regular basis, and not just for years or decades, but for centuries. You know. I'm going to go from 10 to 1. This will be something on television. What is it called? The blah, 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 blah project. You know, it tells about the enslavement of the black race of people first. Not that was what I meant to speak about. That word created is important because for us, Plymouth Rock project or the Jamestown project. I can't remember. Sorry about that. He did it. He created out of nothing. What did he create? What does it say? Anyway, though, moving right along, you know, speaking upon some such other matters, moving right along. On the other things, as our kissing cousins across the great Atlantic, in the mother country that gave birth to this hypocritical country and nation, in the supposed so-called Democratic Republic of Democracy of the USA. You know, don't get me wrong. I mean, America, USA, United States of America is still to be considered as being possibly probably the beacon light to the rest of the world. You know, in this dying and dark world. But nevertheless, it has a horrific history or negative legacy of mistreatment of the black race of people's persons. Okay, and still we are being mistreated, and of all females of whom are kidnapped and sexually assaulted or raped. Whereas, you know, it goes without saying, hands down, pardon the pun, no intended, no disrespect meant to be directed at the persons of any past, present, or future sexual assault victims or rape victims. And as I think of it with that in my mind's intentions to try to backtrack here, the reason on purpose of being, so I can go on to following to continue from where I had last left off to finish up as a complete a formal line of thought in that same sense. But then black females are some as such, or they are the most kidnapped and sexually assaulted or raped. You know, okay, possibly not only within the continental United States of America, but elsewhere. You know, black females come up missing and then be hog-tied, handcuffed or chained to the bed post somewhere in a dimly lit room, be it a dark dungeon, basement, or attic, and they are repeatedly sexually assaulted or raped by different races, many different races of male persons, especially that much more when it comes to, closet racist redneck and closet rapist white boys who have always sexually assaulted or raped black females more than any other races of females they themselves could possibly rape. And whereas closet racist redneck and closet rapist white boys have always raped females of whatsoever races, especially when it comes to black females, more than any other races of male dickhead, prick, sexual predator, animal monster, creeps and crazies of rapists and pedophiles. That's the fact of the matter. And yet, the irony of it, to add insult to injury, white boys are closet racist rednecks and are closet rapists corner the market when it comes to getting those get out of jail free cards compared to the many different races of sexual predator, animal monster, male creeps and crazies otherwise. Okay. Then that's not necessarily what I had meant to speak upon either. When it comes to those Joe Palookas or Joe Schmoes or Joe Schmucks, as the president gives them time, though it is worthy of an argument to be debated, controversially associated with some and such, to be compared on to gay pedophile Catholic priests or whatsoever races who continue to scope, stalk, and vamp or prey upon much rather than instead of thinking of it with my intentions to pray with the many different races of their boy sexual assault victims, boy rape victims, boy molestation victims, of underage male minors, of adolescent or of teenage and worse yet preteen boys, being of whom our mother themselves likewise of whatever walks of life, factions, and society lifestyle preferences. Anyway, though, let me get on to something else. Yeah. But yeah, I kind of woke up late this morning for some reason or another. Hopefully this is not to become the regular habitual happenings. Disregard what you heard in the background. It's just, like I said before, so I say again, it's just another proverbial neighbor from hell, dickhead, prick, cat, and possibly more of a male than a female, more of a man than a woman. That's what I meant to say. Can't say Prince Peace continue to regulate my mind compared to how the Prince of Darkness to conclude my speech as a thing in one time being, because I'm feeling quite like the lesser two evils, being a prodigal son playing a part, the devil's advocate. And like I said before, so I say again, and whereas the worst two evils is like any one of those persons, being of whom are of the worst of the worst cis, unbelievers or non-believers, being a deceiver, should pretend to be believers in God as in Christians, aka Protestants, and therefore they themselves, being of those among the likes, would likewise be considered as well all the same, being of the worst cis of closet devil worshippers, being of whom make up the majority of churchgoers of whatsoever religious denominations, and opposed to the pulpits of members and visitors like false-brethen, false prophets, antichrist, religious church hypocrites, religious-charlatans or religious-chameleons of modern day Pharisees and or Sadducees, modern days supposed so-called holy and endowed of modern day evidentials. Anyway, getting back to me and all, and as I was saying, so I said, I kind of woke up late today. I don't know, for some reason or another, especially in this day and age as we have it, of a global pandemic that can parallel or compare to the one that had taken place or happened all around the world about a century ago. It would take some years, And there was this one white woman who claimed that she survived both pandemics, the one for 1918 and the one for 2020 as we have it. And with the way this here, what you call, to be much more specific, COVID-19, coronavirus, is what I would nickname it as being. Then can you imagine certain people, the person saying that they won't buy any Corona beer because of the global pandemic? I'm like, what does that have to do with COVID-19? To just have the same name, well, partly, don't mean that the beer has any, traces of COVID-19 or the corona virus in it, just being because it goes up under the same name as corona. But then getting back to some such other, yeah. We're never to judge motive. So, where was I at? Yeah. So I woke up this morning rather late. It's like when you start to judge motives of the heart. There was something else I was about to say. I can't remember for the life of me. Oh, well, it wasn't all that. Yeah, but anyway, though, and disregard what you hear so far, the interruption. Got a bunch of crazies in this building. But I'm at now to be compared on to ones that I moved from. Yeah, it was on the tip of my tongue. I was about to say about her. Anyway, moving right on. Yeah, I woke up late. Oh yeah, I was saying something about white woman that survived. No, that wasn't it. But that took a lot of doing, whatever she did. Anyway, though, getting back to some such other. So I woke up late today. And this here global distancing is proven to be quite a great inconvenience, especially if from churches being closed to, or rather should I say, rephrase that to reverse it, from self-help recovery program meetings being closed to churches being closed themselves. It's throwing a monkey wrench in more than quite a few things. That's terrible, And hopefully all this here, new policies and procedures, requirements, rules and regulations, our modern day civilization, society, or countries, nations, near and far, all over the world, or the globe, however it's said, is being gone about to really take care of the basic needs of the human race for our own species, then to think that it could possibly be fulfilling that of a conspiracy theory about how the persons, the people who represent the 1%ers, the very filthy rich who controls the majority of the world's wealth, being of whom supposedly wants to bump off 1 billion people or persons in the world with the assistance or help of their subordinates so that they could be able to much better control or manage the 99% otherwise who represent the rest of the world's population or the global community. Have you all ever heard about something of that nature? Let's say 9,000 words. And as the filthy rich, all the same, represent, or are associated, affiliated with the many different secret societies and royal families. Yeah, that's kind of bad. He'll empower me to do things that I couldn't. Yeah, so I get to thinking. I mean, as it comes to mind, a line of thought. But, I believe that this global pandemic is partly man-made, manufactured in some such a mad scientist secret underground laboratory to complement that thought of a conspiracy theory, being of which is mainly mostly authorized by the filthy rich among percenters to bump off 1 billion persons in the world so they can be much better able to manage or control the rest of us, being of whom make up the remaining 99% of the world population of the global community. I would suggest to you that when it happened, and to complement, quite a few movies having that have a plot that has become ever so surreal to what's going on in reality at the present moment in time. One called Contagion, where it speaks upon a virus affecting the global community or the world population, like what's happening now. And then there is one movie called 12 Monkeys with Bruce Willis, being of a Hollywood or Hollywood, California actor, movie star, who represents the majority of, some such celebrities of the movie, music, and television industries who have sold their souls to the devil. The very industries being which are controlled, by, of those that I mentioned earlier, are controlled by the Jewish mafia and or the gay mafia. Yeah. Anyway, though, so we have this here global pandemic, being of which I believe, and I'm sure others agree with me, compared to still how there are some others that would tend to differ, is partly man-made, and to possibly complement a conspiracy theory, being of which I had mentioned, if you had been listening as I was speaking English and American dialect, okay, for my native tongue as it is, for me as an American citizen, regardless of whether I was born here or naturalized. But then, the United States of America is not my home. My home is the state of Israel, and because blacks are the original Jews, black Hebrew Israelites, black Rastafarians, represent the 10 lost tribes of Israel. Those other supposed so-called Jews, those fake Jews, are a bunch of Europeans who stole our identity. Okay. Notice the word Jewish means like a Jew. Understand what I'm saying? Like a Jew. Not a Jew, but like a Jew. Voila. And there you have it. Jewish. Okay. They stole our identity. They stole our land, being as it is, of Palestine, or as it is now known as the state of Israel within the Middle East. You know, the cradle of civilization for the human species started upon the continent of Africa. Okay? Better recognize and realize.
I need some scripture for that. We're going to get to it.
Then I myself consider that other person of myself to be more of a Christian and a Protestant than any other line of thought to be possibly considered to label me.
I'm not really involved in the church.
When I go for a job application, I don't put on there, I'm black,
I mean, I'm giving a lot of time to my business.
I'm Black American or African American, or I'm a Black Puerto Rican and Indian. I don't put that on the job application. I put down other, you know, because I really don't recognize myself to be of a certain race of people's persons. Although I'm a mixed breed, and I probably still have, you know, some sort of white relatives within my family tree, even for this post 911 era. Not to mention other races and relatives. But I don't put that down on job application because I really don't consider myself to be black or white. I'm just telling it like it is, you know. I consider myself to be an American, but that much more I consider myself to be a Christian, a Protestant at that. I know certain black persons would have issues with what I have said. When I say I don't consider myself to be black, but then I don't consider myself to be white either. But I don't, you know. If I consider myself to be of something along that line of thought, then it would be, because I am a mixed breed, it would be a black, Puerto Rican, and Indian, but I don't put that down either on the job application. I just put down other, you know. Okay, I don't look at it from a point of race, you know, because I'm a Christian, a Protestant. I'm not supposed to, you know, I'm saying differentiate, you know, between races, you know. Okay, so therefore, some compared to others could possibly conclude then I would have no qualms with marrying a white girl, as well as I would have no qualms with marrying a black sister or a non-white woman among the many different ethnic minorities. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't have a problem with marrying, you know, a white girl or a black sister or any race of woman, you know. But still, I would say I don't look at myself. I don't look at myself personally as being black or white or etc. I just consider myself to be an American and that much more a Christian, aka Protestant. But then that's not what I wanted to speak upon either, you know. And although I am a member of the BPP, the Black Panther Party, a card-carrying member to some of such, well, I'm more in line of thought with that being an original BPP, not the new BPP, being of which may as well be considered to be a black street gang, you know, to be compared on the Black Lives Matter movement. Yeah, Black Lives Matter movement will be a black street gang. The very reason why I say this here, and I know that some would have issues with me having labeled it as some such compared to others, pretend to different. I mean, there was one time some what was it, news reporters or news correspondents or news journalists, well, whatever I have said, there was some personnel that represented a news agency, a news organization, wanted to interview the Black Lives Matter movement. And this one black sister that should know better, being a black professor for a college or university, she's like this here: no interviews today. No interviews today or any other day. And you're saying, hey guys, fellas over here, calling for her fellow members of the Black Lives Matter movement, paramilitary, social activists, black organizations. Over here, guys, fellas, over here. I'm like, that's bogus. If you're not a black street gang, then why wouldn't you want some news reporters, news correspondents, news journalists to interview you. You would think you would all the more want some of such to do so. So they told me right there, something ain't right. You know, that don't sound right. If a black sister, and she's supposed to be a member of the Black Lives Matter movement, and supposed to be a professor of a college or university, how much more you would think she would want some of such news reporter, news correspondents, or news journalists, excuse me, to interview them, you know, but she didn't. That's bogus, you know. I'm like, what in the world is going on? You know, I'm like thinking from there, what are you all into? Disregard what you're hearing, just a dickhead, maybe some help, that's all. Or a man more than a woman being disruptive or interrupted. Getting back to what I was saying, I'd be like, what are you? You know, like some kind of black street gang that's into drug pushing, dope dealing, or human trafficking, or running a sex ring, money laundering, etc. One of the most somber statements ever to be uttered is, "It's hopeless." I mean, that don't sound right. So that told me right there. Street gang, black street gang, you know, and then that only convinced me of some or such other. You hear what I'm saying? Okay, it had from there, you know, like say, or how you say, you know, verified. Can y'all still see me? It verified some of such other what I have heard, you know, so far as whereas it was saying that, you know, the Black Lives Matter movement was, you know, supposed to have been financed by some or such a Jewish racist redneck organization agency. You know what I'm saying? For that some or such a given moment in time. You know, like George Soros, you know, according to you know, his background, he was a white Jewish male person. He still is. That he's supposed to be a white Jewish male person who had collaborated with the Nazis during World War II. He was able to save his own skin by, you know, how his parents had gone about manufacturing false or fake IDs for him so that he would miss the Jewish Holocaust, orchestrated and initiated by the Nazi Blitzkrieg, or as he come through his part of town, as well as wherever else on the continent of Europe. And they were from there, you know, gathering the Jews together. When I say Jews, I don't mean because blacks are the real Jews. Gathering the Jewish together, you know, hurling them. There's they were gathering them like cattle hordes, and sending them to you know, different POW camps or concentration camp or death camp or whatever they were called. You know. And George Soros you know, had mainly altogether escaped from being put into a concentration camp, a death camp, and then put into a crematorium, a gas chamber himself, because of his rich Jewish parents who had faked his IDs and had him become a part of the Hitler Youth of the Fourth Reich, something like that. He was sent to some of the best schools and, lived in luxury because his parents' riches. And he acquired a lot of real estate properties, which had been abandoned as the Jewish were hauled off, taken from their houses or homes or mansions, and replaced, repositioned, and concentration camps from there. And he would later go about many clandestine operations to finance different subvergent activities, which could possibly infiltrate governments or overthrow some of such, and finance terrorist activities, drug operations, and etc. George Soros is the devil. He's a demon, of a white Jewish boy. Yeah. Anyway, so much for that conversation. And refer to themselves as such, calling themselves King of all media over. I myself, as I was saying earlier. And Beyonce even tells her fans to bow down to her. Bow down. So this here global pandemic is throwing a monkey wrench in more than quite a few programs or plans for my own personal survival. But then I had yet to become a member, broadcast member to a preppy survivalist camp. Because I believe that our own U.S. or American government, United States government, is complementing that of a conspiracy theory with the filthy rich. Like being the likes of George Soros, or the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, of which I had mentioned earlier. They got underground POW camps up on the premises and properties of Walmart business stores. And a lot of homeless persons are coming up missing. Don't you know? So that mad scientists and doctors and nurses could experiment upon them. And regardless of whether or not a cloning factory is involved here and there. Cloning factory where they clone human beings like they've been cloning animals, certain animals, like Dolly the sheep, And then there's a conspiracy theory how, they want to have us all, become a part of, like say, or how you say, what was I about to say? They want us all to become a part of. Oh yeah, a virtual reality experiment, to complement this new initiative to quarantine the world population of the global community for a while, getting us ready, to establish, getting us ready to help them establish, to prepare us for the establishing of or establishment of the New World Order and one world government, whereas you cannot buy or sell unless you have the mark of the beast. Oh, it's coming. All the same as they're supposed to be trying to set things in motion to establish a one world identity card, to complement the mark of the beast, whereas you cannot buy or sell unless you have that one world identity card, and a complement passages out of the good book where it says that the price of being a Christian will be martyrdom. What Christians have become subject to experiencing overseas has yet to hit the shoreline of America, the USA, whereas we could suffer the same mistreatment as Christians overseas, being, mugged, robbed, and raped, and etc. You know, just getting me thinking about how this one Asian woman within the People's Republic of China, be she were to have been, a citizen or a foreigner, a foreign visitor, where she was an outspoken social activist, and it was brought to the attentions that being her protesting activities, the social activists protesting activities to the government of the secret police and the military of the commie socialist nation of the People's Republic of China. And so they took her off the street and took her somewhere for an underground bunker out of view of the general public. And they not only had beated her, but they raped her repeatedly over a consecutive number of days or nights, and then they killed her and then had her chopped up and sold her body parts. That's a big thing over there in the commie country or nation of the People's Republic of China. Yeah. But anyway, getting on to some such other. Let's backtrack here. And as is reflecting the times that we're living in, where you can't even go to church or somewhere in church. I have to mention the symbol in a self-help recovery program. They want us to go online for some of such, and it's a compliment of how they attempting to establish a virtual reality so that the world population, the global community, cannot tell the difference between reality and virtual reality, and they want to program or reprogram us to become like robots, and or zombies. That much more, and to get us ready for them to, send subliminal messages to us via virtual reality and to have us get ready to become the puppets or robots or clone puppets and robots for the New World Order, one world government. You can take it for what you want, believe me or not, but the fact of the matter is, it seems much more of a plausible argument than what you can begin to imagine, okay? But then I'm not going to worry about it, so much if I stay focused. Whereas, unfortunately, most recently, I had submitted to one of my past addictions or vices. No, I didn't go back to drinking or smoking. Not as yet, though I had an 800-pound gorilla. Those other addictions of a lurking notion upon my back. I mean, I got like at least a couple item products of intoxicating alcoholic beverages, and I got some smoke so far as cigarettes is concerned with 2 packs. I haven't touched them as yet. Hopefully I won't. Just don't have my regulatory being weak. Let me see now. I have some like a pint of hard liquor and a 6-pack of beer and 2 packs of cigarettes. But I haven't touched either, none of that. So I did submit to one of my addictions otherwise so far as watching porn and having sex outside of the marriage principle, no, not with another person, and someone such one represent the opposite sex of a born and raised female person, but of a woman or whatever race and whatever walk of life, they're still into males, not like the lesbians who have rolled off males altogether. I'm not talking about, whereas I could have possibly romanced the thought of hopping the sack with a transgender either, and most certainly not equally well, they said, a female impersonator of a cocksucking ball-sticking faggot. www.guy.com. But I wasn't making reference to even so that hopping the sack with a born and raised female person represents the sex of a woman, but rather I got to masturbating, stroking my chicken. Yeah, and this to watching porn that explores the sexuality of born and raised female persons, but a woman, not a girl's, because to watch kiddie porn is a no-no. It's socially unacceptable and criminally illegal as, unlawful. You know what I'm saying? Let me turn this. Hold on, dog. Just bear with me. Just turn this off. I don't want to get so much, religious hype on any given Sunday. I don't be for any and every religious program. You know how that is. Okay? No, I don't. Okay? I don't go to any and every church either. All that thought I say. Yeah. Wait a minute. Let's see. Religious channel station. Let's see. Okay. Jesus is calling. Anyway, yeah, where was I at now? I'm trying to get so sick and tired of religious hype. You know how to say, I've had it up to here with it. Come out my nose, my ears, my mouth. Anyway, that's better. Yeah, so I was like going at it, I was choking my chicken regardless of a neighbor from hell faggot attempting to interrupt things as you usually do when it comes to that, even so, or likewise, equals well, I'll say. I have got to focus my attention upon him or something. I don't know, I was feeling like from discouraged to depressed, can't attend church service, even so, regardless of how I have, regardless or in due regard to how I have yet to find a church home. And now the church is like online. It's a plot of the devil, try to separate believers in God or Christians, Protestants, because Christians are the greatest threat to the devil attempting to set up his kingdom upon the planet Earth that much more. But since Christ had taken the reins of some such authority over the planet from him with that crucifixion, the devil has been hurting ever since. So he is attempting to implement other plans in accordance to his program to once again regain control over the world and to reestablish, that of the Tower of Babel. They have an event called Burning Man, conference. Then, in some countries and nations, they're attempting to make it legal for a grown-up adult person to have sex with a child. as well as to marry a child. It's disgusting, you know. Well, you see what's happening in our own country with the gay marriages, you know. But anyway, getting back to some such other thing, www.godhatesfags.com. I'm not a proponent or advocate of that particular religious social media website address. You know, though I like some, if not all of what he's saying in his different video broadcasts. You know. I mean, after all, you know, and to go about expressing my suppose so-called frustration with his email of www.godhatesfags.com. Frustration, no, not that I'm a closet faggot, cocksucker, God forbid, but then because they're misrepresenting, you know, believers in God or Christians, you know, protesting when they say it like that, when they have a social media website address or email like that, then because God doesn't or don't hate faggots, homos or homosexuals or queers or gunks or Peter Pan fairies, you know, but rather he hates their alternative lifestyle preference. And as they be card carrying members to a blasphemous one at that, you know. I mean, if God hated anybody, he could not possibly give his life upon the cross of Calvary, being of our Lord and Savior Christ, the Messiah deliverer. Getting back to something else. What was I saying now? Okay. Yeah, getting back to me. But then the strangest I ever felt like what to feel like a bisexual. No, don't go there. Don't even try. Don't even think. I have never transformed any bisexual mental thoughts into bisexual physical actions. Though I have or had become, I'm not contradicting myself, but though I have or had become subjected to experiencing that of bisexual tendencies back in the day or in times past, you know. Yeah. I don't know what come over me. I don't know if it had been the results of development of me myself having become drunk or high or combination of some such, or was I sober, but then did not engage in physical acts with anybody. I was in the presence of him, hopefully not, was not. And you don't want to be sexually sort of raped by a John Wayne Gacy or Jeffrey Dahmer want to be a copycat either under those conditions. So, yeah. Moving right along. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sorry if I may seem to be rambling at the moment. So just as long as the majority of most of what I'm saying here and now as a present given on time is coherent, then much rather instead non-coherent. But I was saying, you know, this here social distancing that's associated with the COVID-19 or coronavirus is really putting a damper on things, inconveniencing me as well as anybody else, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm down for it, you know. I'll be like trying to be up on trying to adhere to it, you know, much as possible. But damn, you know, when it gets to become like this here, you know, that really sucks, you know. But thank God we still have certain soup kitchens that be moonlighting as food pantries, you know, which are still open. Otherwise, you know, it'd be a modern day Holocaust if a person cannot get a hold of food soon enough, and a complement of conspiracy theory. There's this one soup kitchen on the south side. I'm not going to say it has pretty much so a washroom that looks pretty terrible. Well, they have most recently tried to fix it up. Still look kind of terrible. But I'm not gonna mention it. But then they serve food. They give meals and have some such that you take with you so far that their food pantry is concerned upon the same premises properties. Yeah. And I like the way they're going about with the social distancing themselves, and they have most recently handed out to the different patrons masks and gloves compared to this other one that I went to. These guys and fellas, they're like bunched up together, you know, practically, probably like, damn. Though, you know, persons who are running that camp have given out hand sanitizer. I'm saying, but what about the masks and the gloves? And what about, in addition to the social distancing, whereas people or persons are supposed to be 6 feet apart. You hear what I'm saying? Because that shit is killing people all over the world. Oh Lord, let me rephrase that. And regardless of how I don't feel too Christian at the moment, or feeling like quite the prodigal son being a lesser to you. I said prodigal son, not closet devil worshiper. No, prodigal son playing the part of devil's advocate. But anyway, though, that F and BS is killing people worldwide. You got to employ the usages of some of such discretion, if not altogether. If you don't want to become one of those statistical racial percentiles dying in a hospital somewhere with tubes going to your nose and in your mouth. How many noses and mouths does your average human being have? No, what I'm saying? I'm making reference to speaking in the plural in the singular sense of the word. If you want to become one of those racial statistical percentiles or percentages of people or persons dying in hospitals and wherever else for that matter, then some of the worstest premises of properties to have contracted that COVID-19 virus. COVID-19 coronavirus is jails and nursing homes. I hear they're catching hell in those two camps. Jailbirds dying off, senior citizens elsewhere. Those nursing homes dying off was bad enough that they being abused by certain nursing home technicians or personnel. Then they think that to complicate matters, they're dying off from that corona beer virus, as I would call it, not corona fag cooties virus. Again, I'm one of them persons that believe that the coronavirus, COVID-19, is partly associated with the LGBT community. Yes, I'm one of the person that believe compared to others that tend to differ. Just remind me of there was this guy that fell upon a mass transit with public transportation. I mean, his public transportation with all of this bus and train routes with many different ones. His funky, foul, stinking self, to put it mildly, he was like sneezing and coughing without covering up his nose and his mouth. I'm like, man, what do you think you doing, man? In close vicinity of other people, persons, or passengers. I'm like, what in the damn hell you think you're doing, man? Get your home back there somewhere. Don't get as far away from the other passengers as much as possible. You can't be doing that, man. Can't you see what times we living in? What you think you're doing? Like he's some kind of biological terrorist or something, attempting to cause a biological hazard. Like, I don't know if he was an American citizen or foreigner. One thing I do know is that his himself was nasty doing all that without covering the two orifices of his face, his nose and mouth. Like, what do you think you doing, man? You can't be just, Now, suppose he had been in the company of certain law enforcement officers or police officers some of those police officers been on the verge of beating his ass, kicking his ass and stumping the damn hell out of his ass. I'm just keeping it real, telling like it is, Nobody want to catch that shit. You know what I'm saying? Nobody want to catch that. And I'm like, what do you think you doing, man? Then somebody stole one of my scarves. I want to give them time. One of my better scarves. They had the U.S. flag upon it, and it was blue. It was a different color blue. I had this scarf. It had the U.S. flag upon it. More or less, a different flag. It was of the USA. It was similar to this. It was a U.S. flag, about the same size, more or less, so without the words and so forth. Regular U.S. flag, square shape on the scarf. I love that scarf. I liked it very much. And somebody stole it from me. I'm like, but when I went to a fast food place, speaking upon some and such other, as I was in line, for pickup, somebody, on a sly, took it from around my neck, without my knowledge and without me feeling what I'm doing, some and such. And whether I had another scarf with that, I noticed that scarf was missing. Till later, I said, son of a. So that's why he was, acting funny behind me. He might well have had, and being like trying to go like this here. Like get you to thinking about a scene out of the Godfather movie, the original Godfather movie. Like, Lord have mercy. Said, son of a. Yeah, and I'm like, if I had caught him doing that, I would have beaten him black and blue. Right in that camper, fast food place, atmosphere for his principal properties. Beat him right in front of those other customers, as well as the clerk attendants in there. I didn't like that. He stole one of my better scars, Yeah. The devil is a liar, That cocksucker. Too big punk, this faggot self. If not, that he would or could have possibly been an actual closet faggot. www.godhatesfags.com. Anyway, dog, y'all. Yes, I'm about to wrap it all up. And I hope that you all have enjoyed this particular, video broadcast of mine, in which I have composed. Then we'll post shortly after. Yeah. Damn, I can't go to church. I can't go to self-help recovery program meeting. As I am supposed to be a recovering alcoholic and recovering reefer addict. That's my drug of choice. Marijuana, reefer, weed. Yeah. The devil is a liar. Busy damn hell out here. Nothing to do, no places to go, not much, It all depends. Well, I still can go to certain soup kitchens and food pantries are still open, compared to other ones. Some have closed earlier, some have closed altogether. Like the devil is out here. That beast is hungry. He is hungry out here at the moment. The devil that's like a roaring lion seeking to steal, kill, and destroy compared to the Lion of Judah otherwise. But anyway, though, you all, I say to you, if you haven't gotten Christ, in conclusion, if you haven't gotten Christ as your own personal Lord and Savior, I would hope that you would think to do so now. While the blood is still running warm in your veins, by recognizing and realizing what he himself had done or did upon the cross of Calvary on the hill of Golgotha, suffering at the hands of some Roman soldiers, up under orders of their superiors, being religious Pharisees and Sadducees. But then, nevertheless, whereas he himself was willing to go to that cross of Calvary, to become the perfect sacrifice, the only sacrifice, to save the lost souls of humans, for all species of you and me. I don't know if there are any other creatures that would be able to go into the kingdom of heaven, become citizens there, like dogs and cats. So I don't think so. Only humans. But anyway, though, whereas he went to that cross of Calvary, to become the perfect sacrifice, the only sacrifice, as I was saying, Yeah, excuse me. Disregard the physical hand. Just focus on what I'm saying. Be on the same page. Anyway, as I think of it with that in my mind, to try to backtrack here with reason or purpose being, so I can go on to following to continue from where and when I had last left off to finish up as incomplete or formalized on the same sensible. And whereas he had went to the cross of Calvary, become the perfect sacrifice, the only sacrifice for you as well as for me. So that many of us being whatsoever race and whatever walks of life, factions of society, lifestyle preferences, being of the old and young alike, or both two sexual genders, or males and females representing the global community within this post 911 era of a new millennium apocalyptic day and age, and where the doomsday clock is now at a few minutes to midnight, compared onto our formerly previous or prior to then was at a quarter midnight for these rather biblically prophetic times. Were to profess some of such faith in him, from there we become or be blessed in one regard or another, in more ways than one. First and foremost, with his salvation, being of which is the only means by which we can or could possibly hope to become citizens of the kingdom of heaven, or be like so, among other saints of fellowship. And second of all, with his deliverance. But first, you have got to get his salvation, being of the much more or most important blessing. Otherwise, you would not be entitled to any blessings, none whatsoever. And from there, if you should leave this world and make that transition for the great beyond of the hereafter, afterlife, your final destination will be of an outcome of the lake of fire, damn hell, where the devil and his demons will rape you for all eternity, as well as torture and terrorize you otherwise, compared on to how we as believers, as in Christians, aka Protestants, will be across the great divide, beyond the pearly gates, among other like-minded believers in God, as in saints of the fellowship, Christians, aka Protestants, in the presence of God, as citizens who have acquired or obtained entry into the kingdom of heaven. Then, like MasterCard or debit or credit card, they say don't leave home without it. According to that television commercial, then how much more let it be said? The blood sacrifice of salvation of our Lord and Savior Christ, Messiah, the deliverer. Don't leave this world without it. Because people in hell do want ice water. And the majority of churchgoers are going to damn hell. Okay. And that is why I still have yet to find a church home, as the majority of churches, therefore, are full of F&BS, full of the devil, devil worshippers, closet devil worshippers, who make up the majority of churchgoers or whatsoever religious denominations, and whatever religious denominations churches, okay, yeah, in the sea of false churches, where the only really good time that I had, supposedly most recently, well, more or less have had in church that I can remember, be it having been most recently or some time back in the day, and times that, unfortunately, not as it would be some of such that would really be like some of such that would be inspired by God or glorify our Lord and Savior Christ and Messiah delivered, but it was, more or less totally altogether different. If you look at it from one point of view, none of that one. No, if you look at it in any regard, but I attended this one church. I'm gonna share this with you all. Then we'll close out. Whereas they're doing some remodeling, reconstruction on the wall within this church atmosphere for the primitive properties, as it is of a supposed so-called sanctuary for its edifice. And whereas the wall had connected the men's washroom with the women's washroom, and it had a big hole in it, and anybody that wanted to use the washroom could, so far as the male is concerned, for the men's washroom, could peep through that hole and look into the women's washroom, And for quite a while, unfortunately, I was doing just that among other males. I would think would have done the same if they're not gay. I look into that women's washroom, but I wouldn't look into it if there were female patrons of the women's washroom were, underage female minors, as in adolescent, teenage, and or preteen girls. But if they were women, I would look through the hole on the wall that connects the women's washroom with the men's washroom for that church facility for its primitive property, and look at different races of women, like use the toilets, regardless of whatever they would be wearing, be they wearing a pants outfit or a dress with the hemline going halfway across the upper thighs or a skirt of the same length. Then from there, either drop their pants with the panties or raise the dresses and skirts and then drop the panties from there. Raise the dresses and skirts above their waist and then drop the panties from there. And I was looking at all that bare vagina and so forth. I was like, seeing how I'm not gay, I was more or less choking my chicken when I'm watching. But after a while, for some reason or another, I would suspect that they got to thinking from there that more than quite a few males could be eyeballing them, the private parts, through that hole in the wall. So they stopped using that washroom, the woman's washroom, until the necessary repairs were to be completed. That was back in the day, and before all this, scientific, technological advancements, equipments of a nature for communication, be it cell phones or digital cameras or camcorders and all that. Well, more or less before that time. Anyway, I was looking through that hole in the wall like, damn, some fat ass pussies. Like very much I love to stick stuff my dick in their ass. Beefy, weefy, meaty, juicy, hairy ass cats. And some of them was like, certain ones of those female persons, a woman representing opposite sex, was some senior citizens that were giving serious competition to their much younger female woman rival counterparts. I was looking at some of them too, and I'm like, I'll make me want to stick and stuff my thing in the hole of the wall and say, ride this here! The bitches are all riding! Suck it and riding! Suck it even so before and after you can ride it that much more those hairy, beefy, meaty, juicy, and hairy cats of yours. Ready! But I better not stick and stuff my sausage through that hole in the wall, which I didn't. Fortunately, thank God for that. And because from there I would have church security all over me, as well as the regulars, flatfoots, fuzz of the boys in blue. And from there I would have acquired a label, a closet rapist, as well as to complement that of a peeping Tom, a male voyage or otherwise. And this happened back in the day. I was watching all them. Imagine how one would wish one had but then you couldn't take photo shots with your camera because that would alert them that much more sooner that they got peeping Toms and males looking through that hole in the wall. Maybe you could get away with it if you have a camcorder. Because, a camera, it has that flash, and so they know something's up. I don't think that, camcorder, it has, but not as powerful or just as much, unless I'm mistaken. Yeah, camcorder have them, But then they hit a beep, and that, so you couldn't do the camcorder either. They had it back there. Yeah. But anyway, I'll peep through that hole in the wall. What the? Oh, man. We bend over, shake your pants. Show me what you're working with. Get it. This happened on the south side of Chicago. For the Midwest, you would say never would have been on the west side. Like, damn, sister so-and-so. I know you had a cat that fat, meaty, juicy, and hairy, and sweet looking. You had a pussy that fat. Damn, be thankful I'm not one of those sexual predators or male characters. Damn, you got a nice fat cat on you. I would like to stick and stuff something in it. Like, God forbid for one to be stalking and then be attempting from scoping that much more to stalking, vamping. I don't know why I shared that with you all, but I'm just not feeling it so far as my religious beliefs of faith or spirituality. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully next time I get on here, I'll be more cool with it, Man, I mean, talk about footprints in the sand, you know. You're not alone. You're not alone. I'm not so much as into virtual church so much because you never know whether or not that can be fabricated, faked, I'm not so much as into that. A lot of times it is, you don't have a real life audience. It's just simulated virtual compasses of some such other caricatures. So you never know if it could be like the government behind certain religious church services and sabbatical Sunday school classes, watching you as you're watching a religious church service and sabbatical Sunday school class. So I have to get the full butt naked Monty of a real life interactive in the flesh, interacting with other members and visitors of a church atmosphere. I have to get the full amount of social action, social interaction in within a camp of an actual live church atmosphere. That virtual reality church service, that virtual reality religious church service and sabbatical Sunday school class don't do it for me. Though I be trying to give it the benefit, trying to, what I'm saying? But I have my suspicions that the government could be watching you for what could be just, so much simulation, computer imagery simulation of religious church services and sabbatical Sunday school classes. So I'm not really into that, but I watch it from time to time, but not otherwise I don't. I don't watch any church service and Sunday school class online, in any regard. I listen to it on the radio or watch it on TV, but I don't watch it online, much, I'm like, to damn hell with that. Because, like I said before, once again, the government could be watching you through some simulated imagery, church attendance or service or Sunday school class, be simulated imagery, of fake, of fake, of fake church activities, in that line when it comes to computers and cell phones. Otherwise, I just listen to it on the radio as well as watch it on TV that much more. Anyway, though, y'all years, I'm about to close out, and I hope y'all were at least entertained, if not educated or enlightened. Not that all that I've said was for entertainment reason or purposes, God forbid. You know what I mean to say. Okay. You're gonna close out.
Egyptian Nights, the USSR radio symphony orchestra conducted by Boris Demchenko. And you're listening to classical WFM Bridge, glad to be with you on a roughly warmer Sunday afternoon here in Chicago. Spain now. These are two danzas españolas, Spanish dances, one from the south of Spain and Oriental, one from the east. Religious-charlatan, is the guitarist playing the music of Enrique Granado.
Alrighty. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry about that. I have to abbreviate this here. Just typing a message right quick. To abbreviate some of this here. So that it fit. I'm past the word limit. Okay. Okay, let me see. I don't know what the hell. Yeah, man, it's not. Okay, there it is. Alright. Oh, come on. Okay. Try this out. Damn, I close out. That. You know what's happening, y'all. Okay, here we go. Okay. All right, I'm going to end this here, you all. Okay, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And I'll get back with you all. If and when, that all depends. Until then, you all take care and be safe. Be blessed, not stressed. Peace and love, joy and happiness. We out. Bye-bye.